All right, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 2. Basically, I'm reading the Bible every day until I'm passionate again. I'm not trying to chase emotions, I'm trying to chase consistency, right? For the past like 2.5 to 3 years, I've been working out every single day. I mean, there were a few days where I couldn't work out because of traveling or whatnot, but working out as much as I can almost every single day and doing something that's good for me, that on a reliable and predictable manner, day in and day out, it's one of the variables and factors as to why I'm no longer depressed, right? When you do something that's good for you and you might not want to do, but you do it every single day, in the end, dude, it's so worth it, right? And so I understand that discipline is so crucial when you do something that's good for you, even when you do not feel like it. So, because discipline builds devotion, I know that devotion will bring passion. You can't just become passionate overnight out of the blue if you're not putting in the repetition and the work, right? So, that's basically what this series is all about. And I'm referring to this devotional to guide us in our discussion. It's daily moments of strength, inspiration for men. But between you and me, I think the word is good for everyone, regardless of gender. And obviously, the devotionals are tailored towards men. So I'll try my best to make it gender neutral. Okay. So the passage itself is Acts 14, verse 17. He never left them without evidence of himself and his goodness. Sorry, kind of stutter there. He never left them without evidence of himself and his goodness. For instance, he sends you rain and good crops and gives you food and joyful hearts. So the title of this one is In and Out of Season. And it's supposed to be January the 2nd, but right now it's the first week of December. So I'll modify it a little bit. So the holiday season is over. And though you may be glad that the world can get back to normal, you at least have to admit that there is an increase of spiritual awareness or openness during the holiday season, like November and December. It's easy to invite a coworker or a neighbor or a friend to church for the special Thanksgiving service. But now that the holiday season is over, are there no more opportunities to witness to people? Goes on to say this: all times are God's seasons. A discerning Christian can learn many ways to sow seeds of God's love. But like good farmers, we need to know whether it's time to plant, whether the crop needs some watering or sunshine, whether it needs to be weeded a little, or whether it is ripe for harvest. All of these are critical points in the timeline of someone's journey toward Christ. So, what seasons of opportunity are coming up soon? So, I think this devotional is basically challenging us and encouraging us to not just rely on holidays and events for us to witness and to share our faith and to evangelize, but to do it all the time whenever the opportunity arises. Now, as a guy that used to work in corporate America, I'll be the first to say, sometimes it can be a little awkward, sometimes it can be a little weird, but I don't think it would hurt to just, when you do your small talk with your coworkers, I don't think it would hurt to just share with how God has mo- been moving mountains in your life lately, right? To just talk about how blessed or grateful you feel about XYZ because of God and whatnot. Um, and the bottom line of the devotional says this: ask God to give you the words and the heart to share his love with others. And I wrote some notes right here, and I want to talk about that. I think the question that I want to propose, in light of what this devotional is speaking, how will people know that you're a follower of Jesus? Your outward expression. I think deep down we can say on an individual to individual level whether or not we follow Jesus, but how will other people know that you are a follower of Christ. And I think it's through love. Your day to day mundane actions and behavior, does it manifest in a selfless character of someone that genuinely cares about people? Or are you someone that's always just selfish, gossiping, road raging when someone cuts you off in traffic, right? Because I think in the Bible, I'm trying to get to that point where I could just start like spitballing passages straight from memorization. But isn't there like a passage in the Bible where it's like someone asked Jesus a question of like, how will they know? How will they know that we're your followers? And then Jesus is like, through your love from one another. When people see how much you care about other people and how you place them before your own needs, that's how they will know. Because you will be different. Because everyone else, they put their own priorities first. But you guys are going to put the priorities of others before yours. And through that, people will know that you are a follower of mine. Obviously, I added a little bit of my own words, but I think that's basically the heart of the message. And I think it's a good reminder, right? I mean, obviously, I don't work in corporate America anymore. I'm a full-time YouTuber, so I work from home, which means I don't have coworkers, right? I mean, my dogs, do they count? Um, but like, if you're in a position where you're blessed to go into a warehouse or into an office or into whatever setting where you put your time in to get a paycheck, you know, I think you have a really good opportunity, especially if your coworkers don't know God, right? So, and then I wrote something else here. We shouldn't rely on a single day or event to be or act more Christian. Every single day presents the opportunity to spread God's love, kindness, grace. And yeah, I think that's so true, right? I think it's easy for us, after we leave service on Sunday with that sermon high, to do the right thing for like 20 minutes. But then when life starts to hit you, who are you? Right? Are you your flesh again? Or are you someone that's acting and behaving in a manner that is reflective of God, of God's love? I saw a quote the other day, and I think this might help someone out there, right? It's like, to love someone is to see them in a way where you understand that God loves them. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people out here, you know what I'm talking about. The dysfunctional, argumentative, toxic people where it's almost impossible to love them. But even God died on the cross for that person. Even God loves that person. So when you love them, you got to look at them the same way that God looks at them, right? So it's a tough um it's a tough thing to do because the flesh carries grudges. The flesh is very counterintuitive to what grace is. So to love someone is to see them the way that God sees them. I think that's the way it goes. Anyways, what do you think about this one? I think it's a good reminder. I think we all understand that we should be sharing our faith more often, but I don't think we do. So I think it's one of those reminders that we need more often, right? Because you never know when that seed that you plant could lead into something bigger, right? Like that's when Jesus takes the wheel and finishes the work that you start. So, yeah. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys next time. I'll see you in episode 3.